Got
Yo, that was kind of dope, dog.
I thought you already had that plan.
Man, I just hit a button. I'm back here playing, man. I said it kind of worked out perfect though, because we ain't even got no theme music yet, man. We're gonna get there though, bro.
I like it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's up? Welcome, 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 welcome to the very first episode, first taping, first recording of the God ordained, God certified Four Pillar podcast.
Awesome.
Oh man, that ain't the right one. We're gonna have to work on that, y'all. Hey, so it's the Four Pillar podcast, man. Welcome. I appreciate everyone. If you do happen to tune in, we recording today. Eventually we're gonna get to the point where we go live, man. But we're here. We're here. We're starting something new. I know there's a lot of podcasts out there in the virtual world. But I reached out to my brother, man. I reached out to a couple people actually, and very interested in sitting down and using some of my time to kind of talk about some of the things that mean the most to me, some of the things that God puts on my heart to share and stimulate conversation, good, edifying, fun, clean conversation. We ain't doing it for clicks, so I don't care if you click, like, or not. But we here just to talk about some of the things that mean the most to us. The four pillars. A pillar is something that holds a structure upright. And there's four pillars to my lives, and I know it's a lot of other people out there that have the same. Number one is my faith. I could talk about my faith all day. It's easy for me to talk about my faith, but we're going to talk about faith, not just my faith, but faith of others, other believers, other denominations, other religions, those who don't quote unquote have a religion. We're going to have them on here. We're going to talk about it. Second thing is family. We need it, especially in our community. Talk about family, strengthening our family, helping one another out, hearing about the challenges that there are with marriage and fatherhood and other key topics to men, young, old alike, and hopefully it'll bless somebody. The third is finances. We want to make sure that our pockets are tight and right. And we want to share some edifying things, some ideas, bounce them off of each other so that we can uplift one another and strengthen our community. We want this to be a avenue for edification for the brothers and the sisters who happen to tap in. And the last one, man, we can talk all day. We're probably going to have some shows where it's just straight up only about football. And we can talk that pig skin, that leather, that thing that changed my life that I fell in love with. It's one of my loves. We're going to talk about that football. We're going to go behind the scenes of football programs. We're going to talk to athletes. We're going to talk to coaches, players. We're going to talk to fans. We're going to keep it local. We're going to keep it national if we can. If God chooses for it to go that way. But most important, it's about which way God chooses for it to go. And speaking of all four of those pillars, I got my co-host / contributor / he's the man when it comes to faith. He's known as a minister. He's known as a brother. He's known as a man of God. Was known as a pastor. When it comes to family, he's known as a father. He's known as a brother. He's known as a friend. He's one of the best dudes I know at his age. When it comes to finances, he ain't rich, but he know what he's doing. And
Yeah.
I can his pocket.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And rich is a relative word.
It is.
Yeah, it's a relative word. So in y'all's terms, he or I are not rich. But this brother, man, knows what he's doing. He got some brilliant ideas when it comes to finances, and he's one hell of a football coach. He's the linebacker coach, / JV offensive DC for the Louisville Male High School. It's the one and only Eric Palmer Jr. What's up, EP?
Going on? There's a lot of accolades, man. I'm just a simple, normal guy.
Hey, man, listen, man, you're a brilliant guy, dude, and a good friend. I forgot to say you the original Humble Beast.
Only the real ones remember.
Yeah, real talk, man, real talk. So look, man, I mean, when it comes to, we're gonna jump right into it.
Okay.
Because I think I reached out to you a while back with this idea, man, and I think actually I think there was 5 pillars, and you correct me if my memory is incorrect, but or maybe the 4 pillars, maybe it was, instead of finances, it was fitness. Was it faith, family, fitness?
Yep, it sure was.
Yeah. Yeah, then my pant size went up two sizes.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to help too much on that one.
You can never on that. There was
Yeah.
a point. There was a point in time you could though, dude.
I'm trying to get back to that. Let's try to get back to that.
Yeah, same man.
I mean, I know what to do. I just gotta do.
That's, hey, you right, bro. You know what? That's funny, bro. Because like actually, like my I've been had some little health issues, dude, and that's another reason. I didn't say it in the intro, but I had some health issues, man, and it's kind of another reason why I'm doing this as well, because I had a scare, dude. That scare led me in the emergency room, and it led me to a place where, I feel like God was already nudging me to stop drinking, but here in the past few weeks, I've had to stand on that. You know how the people say stand on business. I've been having to stand on that word, man. And so another reason for doing this is to kind of fill that void. I used to spend probably too much time. It's actually becoming an idol. Not just that, but I was just mentioning my pastor a couple of weeks ago how football was becoming an idol to me as well, and how it was affecting my faith, man. But this is another way, another avenue for us to be able to minister, man, minister to the people. And I know you know all about ministry. I don't know, and if it's anything that you don't want to cover personally, feel free to hit the pause button, man. But I know you were a pastor recently, right?
It was about 3 years ago. 2 or 3 years ago. Yep, it was a temporary station. Yep, over at Brown Temple Amy Zion Church. Did it for 2 years. Then I had to take a step back. I couldn't really lead people if I wasn't in the right space. So now I'm in the process of doing that, get back under actual leadership before taking on leadership.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I come to terms with. You can't play with people's souls. You know what I'm saying? If you're not in the direct space, in the correct space in your mind and your soul and your heart, you don't need to be leading somebody. You can't have the blind leading the blind. So I felt I didn't want to do more harm than good. So right now I'm back in the process of getting under. Well, I'm in the process, or now I'm currently under leadership.
That's awesome, man. Where you go to church, if you don't mind me asking?
I joined a New Birth Church on Crumbs Lane or Cameron Road. Yeah, under Pastor Ward, Pastor Ruth.
That's nice. It's nice, man. Yeah, no, it takes a lot of it takes a real humble dude, man, to be able to make a decision like that, man, to be able to look in the mirror, man, and say, yo, like, I'm not in a position to be able to lead or by example in that capacity, man. What was it like before you made the decision? And I'm assuming based off of your response that you made a decision to step down, but talk to me a little bit about being a young pastor, man, because if that was 3 years ago and my math is correct, excuse me, then you were what, in your mid 30s?
No,
Early 30s.
no, I'm just.
Say it again.
I just turned 30.
Oh shoot, man, you an old soul, man. I must be confusing you with Eric Palmer Sr. So you was in your mid 20s, man. Golly. pastoring a church, man. What's that like, dude?
Man, it's a lot to deal with. A lot of people think it's just preaching every week. Um, after after you start to realize, okay, yeah, I'm preaching every week. One, the preaching itself is difficult because you gotta preach every week. You gotta come up with saying God's face to come up with, new material. You got discipline in studying and preparing. There was a couple Saturday night sermons I put together Saturday night, staying up all night just to be able to preach Sunday. So that discipline is insane. And then you got people that you got to answer to, of course. So then you got to worry about the building. Make sure the grass is cut, make sure the lights turned on, make sure repairs are needed. And then you have to worry about the people, managing different personalities, especially, like I said, being the age I was, people older than me. It was actually an older church too. People older than me that, were been around Zion longer than me. Doing that and just managing all of that, and then at the same time trying to move the needle or move the church forward, make the church property better, continue to help people grow. It was a lot. And then when I started, I had just got within that first 2 or 3 months. So, my wife went into it immediately as the first lady automatically. In the beginning of my marriage, I think I had just started. I think it might have been my first year at Butler, so I just moved into high school football. So it was a lot. It was a lot, but it's a lot. It takes it. I give it up to pastors. It takes so much discipline, and I don't see how pastor the ones that do pastor and have a 9 to 5, because that's a whole another different ball game. So I had a 9 to 5 at coach football, and I was pastoring, and of course the passion is the most important part. But I felt like that was getting the least amount of my attention. So that's when I had made the decision. But it's difficult, man. It's difficult. It's I give it up for all those passes out there. I don't see to be able to do it, especially for those that've been doing it for so long. And it just takes discipline, and I didn't have that particular discipline that I needed at that time.
Man, man, that's a lot, dude. You you were mid-20s. You were, as you said, you were coaching. You had a family. You also were working at
Mm-hmm.
UPS, and then you were pastoring a church. So I think, man, that's it takes a lot of discipline in itself to be able to have the faithfulness, in my opinion, to one, be able to take such of assignment, two, to be able to manage it as long as you did.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing you, man, knowing that you're a man of faith who obviously doesn't take it lightly to hold such a position. Otherwise, you would have tried to force or fumble your way through it, and to the point to where you didn't remove yourself, and to the point to where I've seen, and maybe you've seen this before, um, in the black church in your community, and not just the black church. I need to quit saying that, but we've seen leadership in church that have done it until they ran themselves out of their positions, for a lack of better word. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so that definitely, to me, shows some discipline to be able to make the decision you made to somewhat recalibrate your life. What impact from a family perspective? I heard you mentioning your wife um, being the first lady. Did it bring any challenges directly to your marriage, being a newlywed and holding all those different hats and positions?
Um, it it required more from her than she was prepared to give. My wife, she's a shy person. She don't like to be in the scene, but she coming in, she's a first lady, so people are looking for her every Sunday. People are looking for her at the services after. People are expecting and putting on her different ministries and things to do, assuming she's the first lady, so of course she's supposed to be doing this and that. And then, like you're saying, she the same way I just got married. She just got married, and so she's coming into a new marriage, new house. Just, I stay here too. New marriage, new house, and now you're telling her she needs to be a part of these ministries. People will be looking at her in the spotlight. So it was a lot. It didn't do a whole bunch to. I don't say it had like a negative effect on my marriage. It just had different challenges where maybe sometimes with butt heads, I'm like, hey, I know you don't feel like going here, but you know, you the first lady.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you have to be here. But uh, but then of course, but my wife, she's strong too. If she ain't going, if it's somewhere she don't want to go, she ain't gonna go. So it didn't have like too many negative impacts. Just causes the butt heads a little bit. You mean brought us.
Your tape probably was like, I didn't sign up for this. You
Yeah,
signed up.
yeah. That's and I understand. Understand. It took me a little time to accept the fact that it's not. She was ready to jump. But I pulled her into it, and she did it by she did it. I mean, she did it by force, but at the same time, she still voluntarily did some things because she knew the type of position I was in. So it helped us too at the same time.
Yeah. What about football, man? I mean, you coach for one of the arguably um, the most successful public school football program in the state. I know y'all alum, man. Y'all don't take that lightly.
Hmm.
And you, this is a time where y'all was experiencing some unprecedented success. If I'm not mistaken, I think y'all wheeled off what, maybe 4, 5 straight um championship appearances during this time frame.
Yep. So when I was passing, I was at Butler at the time though.
That's right. Okay. Okay. Yep. Yep. So even at Butler, that's a 6A, and you did 1 year at Butler, right?
No, I did 3 years at Butler.
Man, I got a
Two,
bad memory.
20,
It's a good thing I stopped drinking.
8, 9, yeah, 8.
Yeah, no, that's good, man. So, same challenges though, right? Same
Yeah.
challenges from a coaching perspective. Having to practice plan, workouts, things of that effect. Um, was it more difficult switching over and going to male as a coach than it was as Butler? Talk to me about. I know, and a shout out to Coach G, Gary Wheeler at Butler. He's he was the head man when we both coached there together. He's
Mm.
back there now, and I think as a defensive coordinator, analyst. I don't know if he's like us. He really ain't a man of titles. But talk to me about that switch, man, moving from Butler and then going over to male from a football perspective.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's kind of like a little culture shock almost. Really, um, it was it, being at male is definitely more time consuming. Male requires a lot of time. Butler, kind of roll with 8, Monday through Thursday, call it a day. Male, you got summers going 9 to 12, 9 to 1, uh, 2 a days. Then we have 7-on-7s. It's more time, really more time, and of course, I guess some could say the results show, but at the same time, it depends on the type of programs that you're working with. Butler, I mean, the kids are the same. Butler, you still have talented kids that could go to Male and play. At Male, you got talented kids that can go to Butler and probably be the guy. The thing about Male, I guess, when you look at players, is they have a more depth. If you look at it, so Butler, you got a couple skilled guys and everything, but we look at number 2 or number 3 on the depth chart. It's a kind of a little of a fall off. Then, as if you go to Male, you're on 3 on the depth might start it, but so it's a depth thing. The one thing I did learn is the difficult players that you deal with at one school is going to be the same players that you deal with the other school.
Hmm.
So I did learn, like, still kids, even Male ain't no different from Butler. When you see kids need rides, parents still being parents, it's going to be the same exact thing no matter where you go in GCPS. And then schedule was pretty a culture shock too. You got big games versus the sales and PRP. But at Male, you playing, like, you got big time Friday nights where I get to go Male versus Ballard games, Male versus St. X, Male versus Trinity, Male versus Manual, bigger games that, bringing more attendance to have more hype to it. So that first, we played Ballard. It wasn't too much of a culture shock. My first Male St. X game, I was like, oh, okay, this is top tier football, you know. And then being at Male, and then being at Butler, you know, you got your good wins. Like the year before I came to Butler, they beat Male in the playoffs. So you get those upsets every now and then. But being in Male is kind of the expectation to beat St. X. We expect to beat Trinity. We expect to beat Manual that we've beat 10 times in a row. You know, it's an expectation that comes along with wearing that purple and gold. So expectations, kids are kind of the same, just get more depth at Male. Then, like I said, time. We spend a lot of time in Mel, but we got it hard. We play St. X, Trinity, Ballard, Manual, Fern Creek. You know, a couple other schools on there that you have to spend more time on. And if you don't, you're gonna get embarrassed.
Yeah, no doubt, man. That's a tough schedule, man. That's a gauntlet, and I think 6A is only getting more and more competitive.
Yeah.
Frederick Douglass, I think they moved up last. Was it last season that they moved up to 6A?
Yep, it was last year. Yep, they gave
Yeah.
us our exit.
Yeah, they it's a big time program, man. I think one thing, of course, Atherton, we are 5A. Heck, Butler's 5A now. Butler had their first experience in 5A ball. I think it's real interesting that you said like the same issues that you saw at Butler from as far as the kids are concerned. You know, you saw it in Male also, and we saw a lot of the same things, man. And it's probably only going to get worse with the busing situation that's changing in JCPS. Kids needing rides, behavior issues. Um, I think the biggest difference is one, um, when you said the depth chart, you know, you can see kids out, and I say that not necessarily in a negative way, but you can see kids out at a big school and have somebody that can step right in that can perform. Um, you know, they may not have as many issues, but of course, I know the type of um, coaches that we are. You try to work with kids, excuse me, through their parents and other means to help mentor them and bring them along as much as you can. But just let's face it, sometimes it don't work out. Sometimes ain't a kid ain't cut for your program, especially when you dealing with a prestigious program that got standards like yours. Tell me some of the ways. Um, I was listening to Southside Rabbi. Do you listen to that podcast?
I listened to a few times. So stuck on like Fruit Trapper podcast that I ain't dove into it in a little while.
Yeah, so I was just listening to an episode yesterday, and KB was talking about how you know, ministry looks different or should look different, at least in today's age, meaning it should be more outward. A lot of us have a misconception that ministry takes place inside the church, right? And so he quoted, I forget the name of the guy he quoted, but he basically said that, um, you know, sometimes as Christians, we feel like that we're being called to move somewhere, where in reality, God just wants us to serve where we are, but he wants us to do it the correct way, in a lack of a better words. And I'll look up and I'll tell you that exact quote that I'm paraphrasing right now here in a second. I know I've always had aspirations, and I think I know talking to you, you had similar aspirations. Tell me about some of the challenges of taking your faith and applying it within the setting that you coach in. Have you been successful in it? Are there things that you feel like you could do better? Is that a goal of yours? Talk to me a little bit about it, bringing your ministry, your faith into where you serve at from a football perspective.
Yeah, sometimes it can be difficult for sure because you have to put on different hats at different times. Um, you know, it's the hardest thing in coaching and being a person of faith is holding your tongue and not speaking in tongues, not speaking
Woo!
in correct. Because I
Amen.
mean, it's hard. Like they upset you, and I'm not gonna sit here and lie and say, you know, I'm the coach that don't curse. You know, I get there sometimes. It's frustrating. You know, There's been a couple times I walked to practice. I said, "Lord, forgive me for what I'm about to say," just because I know somebody somebody's gonna mess up the drill that I done explained 4 times, and they still getting there and running wrong. But nah, it's that's a that can be a witness too, to be like, that coach, he don't curse. That's a way to minister to a kid, just by the way you live and the way you carry yourself with the players, with the kids, and with even with the other coaches. Being a person of faith, and you hear about the Bible, we should be but not of it. So we should look like different coaches from those who aren't saved. It should be some type of difference. Maybe not a huge difference, because they're good men or whatever, but there should be a difference in the way that they may talk. But at the same time, you've got to be strict, you got to be stern, you got to set the standard. The Bible don't say don't coach football and don't get mad at a kid. You got to be able to do that. But I do know one thing that I could do better on my end personally. I could have more real life conversations with the kids. With me having a 9 to 5, me having a son on my own, me having a wife at home, me trying to do business ventures on the side. Sometimes I'm getting there, getting to football practice, get in my car, and get right back out. So I know that it's important that coaches take the time to pull the kids aside. You can do it while there's going where you're doing team, talk to a kid on the side, see where they're at in life, if they need any help, offer advice. I know one thing that I said I wanted to do that I haven't done yet, because of the reason that I listed of how much other stuff I got going on. Every 2 or 3 weeks, take your on a Thursday after walkthrough, practice end a little early to take your position group out to eat. If you can afford it. If not, ask them that they have to pay for. Get something cheap. It ain't got to be Roof Chris, Texas Roadhouse. By mail, there's a McDonald's right down the street. Kids still eat McDonald's. There's a Charlie, Wendy's, whatever. Find something that's decent for the kids, that's cost efficient. Sit down and talk to them. I know that's something that I plan on doing better this upcoming year. Because I know sometimes we're the only positive male leaders in their life. There's a lot of the kids, and you see it with certain issues, that don't have two-parent households, that don't have fathers, even shout out to fathers that may not have their mothers in their lives, that maybe still want to talk about that. But we've got to open up that door and make sure that kids and players feel comfortable to talk. So pulling to the side, having those real life conversations is something that I want to be better at, but I know that's what helps, along with holding them to a standard, on the football field. And if they don't, there's nothing wrong with getting in their face. There's nothing wrong with, pulling them out the game. That's how it's got to be.
Yeah, man. Um, you talk about having the ability to what was the word you used? Guard your tongue, or
Speaking in tongues.
speaking in tongues. And that's my number one thing I struggle with, man. I there's a prayer that I don't pray enough, that I said I was gonna start praying before I got to school every year, and that's or every day. Let the words of my mouth, the meditation of my heart be acceptable in that sight, my Lord, my Redeemer, because I struggle with it. And you're right, man. We are called to be set apart. I was studying earlier today, and was talking about how, Israel was called to have a culture within a certain culture that was different than that culture it was within. And I know that's a circular talk, but basically we're supposed to operate in a certain way in this world that operates completely different than what we do. This world is self-centered, where we're called to serve. This world is about me, me, me. Where we're called to be about us, and that includes it's a trickle down effect all the way to the way we carry ourselves, the way we talk. And I struggle with it too. And it's not all bad, because you want to be real. I think you want to be authentic. None of us is perfect, and there are certain kids that need to be able to see that. But that's something I've always struggled with as well. So you definitely not alone with that, brother. I'm probably worse than you, to be quite honest. I probably have dropped some more harsher words than you have, and then turn right around and play with a kid. And it's kind of crazy. Not everybody is mature enough, especially when we talk about the kids. And really, the adults are the ones who are worse. Usually the kids are mature enough to be able to understand that you can be angry, and maybe come out of character, but at the same time have the heart to be able to love. It's the adults that'll talk about you like you crazy, look at you up and down and sideways. Ooh, that reverend was over there. The pastor, you should have heard the pastor in practice the other day. But I tell you what, I tell you a good one, man. Who a young minister that I tip my hat to, dude. That's Aaron Nance. You know Coach Nance, man.
Yeah.
And we gonna get him on the show because I tell you what, man. I Even though he's younger than me, um, not only chronologically, but in coaching and in the ministry and in faith, I always, and I tell him this all the time, I commend him because that dude is able to coach, hold people accountable, and still not lose his witness through um what was that word you say again? The speaking tongue. But having that coach speaking tongue, man. So I tip my hat to him for that, man. But yeah, man, a lot of folks didn't know, and I'll say this, though, because a lot of our followers, your followers, my followers, hopefully will see this first, and it'll evolve, it'll get better. When we started Humble Beast, I remember you and I talking, and that was really the most important piece of it at first, was us being able to minister, and we were very effective in that when we got that program started. We had not only kids at Butler, which that's where we were coaching at the time, but we had kids from all over that would come on those Saturday mornings and get that word. We would feed them, we'd work them out, and those kids respected us, and it was really edifying. And I, like you, I want to get back to the point to where I'm impacting the lives through the sports, and through coaching and through this avenue in the same fashion, man. So I share that prayer with you, brother, this year to be able to let the words of our mouths, especially when we on the football field, be acceptable in the Lord's sight and the meditation of our hearts, man. So um, now we'll talk a little bit, man. We've covered football. I'm sure we'll come back to football a little bit. I've talked a little bit about family. Um, let's talk about finances a little bit. What sorts of? I know you're one of the people, one of my friends, believe it or not, who really made it or helped me make a point to ensure that I have some sort of passive income coming in besides what I do on my 9 to 5, which is sales at UPS. That's why you see the salesman down there. What type of or do you have any sorts of passive income? And if you don't want to talk about this, you can feel free to hit the punt button. But what type of passive incomes do you have, or are you looking to start to help uplift and secure your family in its future?
Yeah. Currently working on two areas. One, I'm in the process of building my own media company, building a media company that manages faceless YouTube channels. I built my own faceless YouTube channel. Basically, a faceless YouTube channel is a channel that's not centered around a personal brand. So nobody knows it's me. That's not my face on there. My name's not attached to it. But it's centered around content. So you could look at like an example rebound is centered around NBA content, or NFL Red Zone is centered around football. So it's centered around content, and it's not something that I do. I'm a script writer, voiceover artist, I hire thumbnail artist, I hire video editor. I do that hiring, and they produce the video. So it's only up to me to know what to basically give them the idea. So basically, I'm a big movie producer. Um, in that sense. So I've created my own channel, and that is not yet profitable. It is monetized, but I have spent more money than I've made so far. But the big plans for that channel for the year 2024. Um, and then what I plan to do with that media company. What you got some?
Tell the people what monetize mean. I didn't immediately know what that meant as in the context of YouTube. Can just very briefly? some of the followers that may not know, explain what monetized is. I know it's
Yeah,
kind of self-explanatory.
the channel makes money. So any YouTube, and so many people don't know this, but any YouTube channel you create your own, you have the ability to monetize it, meaning you get paid for it. The requirements are you need to initially get monetized, you need 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subscribers. So once you reach that, you can be monetized for ad revenue. So YouTube will get, basically YouTube's trying to keep viewers, and then they'll put ads on your videos, and then you get paid for those ads. So you get paid a certain amount per 1,000 views. But then you can also be your channel can be monetized by brand deals. So companies may hit you up and tell them put a small segment in there, or put something in the description for the video. You can do affiliate marketing, so you can have a store link into your description that people can do. So it's different ways you can have, like, for example, my channel now, it's a big rule about the YouTube community. We don't advertise our own channels because we don't want nobody going there on there hating or trying to steal information. But on my channel, uh, I can have gear, merchandise for it once it gets big enough. So that's how I can make money from my channel. So it's multiple ways I can make money from this one channel. So that's what I mean by monetizing. It's like I said, so I've had I think about 8 videos in from my current channel. I've had one video actually blow up that made probably 80% of the money. But from this point, I'm also into a buy more than build now. And so a lot of people think, I got to build my own business from scratch. Like, you can, and that's good to get those skills, but no matter what business, not just talking YouTube, it's so much easier just to buy a business. That's the fast lane into entrepreneurship, is buying a business that's already running. So I got my first channel up and running, created, building it from scratch. But from this point, I'm going to start buying channels that are already cash flowing. So with me building my media company, my goal is to have a portfolio of YouTube channels, faceless YouTube channels that eventually I want people to be sharing a bunch of videos like, man, you see this YouTube video? And then back of my head, I'm like, oh, that's, so my goal build just a portfolio, so be a movie producer and have multiple channels that I own and operate. And like I said, it's all passive. I'm not doing any of the work. I'm not doing the editing or the script writing or anything like that, but I have all my team in place for that. So that's what I'm currently building as far as passive income. But then I'm also I took an entry in stocks like a while ago, then I backed off of it. But like I said, like I told you before, listening to Earn Your Leisure and Wall Street Trapper, that's something that I'm diving into heavy this year. I've invested in myself and bought a couple courses already that I'm diving in. So those two are getting the heavy amount of my attention. And my goal is, I'm not saying that I'm going to leave UPS or leave my 9 to 5, but the goal is to work toward the option to. It's a whole lot easier to go to work every day when you really don't have to be there, and you can walk out in home and be perfectly fine. But I'm a little ways away from that. I'm not one of those people. I used to be one of those people like, oh no, you give me 2-3 years, I'll be out of there. I'm looking at more of like a 10 year. I'm 30 now. By the age 40, I want work to be an option for me, and something that and then I'll decide if I want to leave or not. So that's what I'm currently working on right now.
That's free. That's freedom. That's a form of financial freedom, or having that option to decide whether or not you want to work or not. I'm with you, man. So is there any? Because I've never, I'm not on social media a lot, but when I do, I always, certain people always tap in with, and you're one of them. But I never see you like market your YouTube channel. Is that intentional?
It is. It is. It's something that, like, I think I used to do it before, but it's just something like, so if I start marketing it and start putting my name out there, it's really not faceless anymore. I wanted to send it around just the content. I don't want my name attached to it. I don't want people to know it's me. It's not my brand. It's just content. Same way faces on ESPN, but actual owner or the main person that owns ESPN, you don't never see them, or you don't never see the person who owns HBO. It's because they're making all the money. Basically, it's not attached to them, and that becomes why it's free, or why it's freedom, because it don't require me, my face, or my time, or my energy to make money for me. It's content that people are searching, because at the end of the day, people are going to search NBA, NFL more than they're going to search Eric Palmer. So if
Yeah.
I focus that information and send around content, I don't want nobody to know it's me. Now, like I said, my goal is for somebody to send me a video and say, "Hey, look at this video," and then back of my mind, I'm like, "Oh, that's a great video," but that's my channel, and
Yeah.
and I'm working toward it. It's not attached to me. It's completely faceless. I'm not attached to it, and my goal is to have 5 to 10 of those channels that's paying me well enough.
Man, that's dope, man. You just educated me, man. We're gonna have to go in more depth on that one alone. It's very interesting stuff there, man. All right. Only about 5 more minutes. I'm gonna do what we're gonna call fourth and goal. All
Okay.
right. We're on the 5-yard line. We got 4 downs to put it in the end zone. All right. Each down is gonna be a topic. You're gonna tell me a goal you have. It could be short term, long term, but something you want to get it done this year. First one is in your faith ministry. First and goal. Go.
Oh, that's quick. Take overtime where it's no time. Let's see. I want the church that I just joined. I want to get in a position where I am serving. So I'm not particularly sure what avenue, where they may have me be, start serving, do it in the capacity where I'm reliable and faithful to it.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Second down. Family. What's one goal for you and your family structure for 2024? Something you want to make better, something you want to do, somewhere you want to go. Second down and goal. Go.
Something simple, increase intentional date nights. For me.
Man, that's a good one.
Yeah, keep it simple.
Hope I'm gonna edit that one out so Quantity don't hear it. Let's see. That's good, man. Third down, finances, one goal, 2024. If you can make it happen, what is it? What is it?
Make at least 5,000 per month passively before the end of the year.
I like it. I like it. All right, man. Probably next time I'm gonna go in reverse order with these. I'm gonna probably from least important to most important, which probably should be football. But we're gonna wrap it up. Fourth down and goal. Football this year, 2024 Male High School linebacker coach. What's your goal, man, for this year?
And I think it's probably the same football coaches out there. I've been super close last 2 out of 3 years in the state championship with a 7-14 point lead, and wasn't able to seal the deal. So man, if I could grab a ring by the end of 2024, it'd be a successful year.
Man, that's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. Man, EP, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your wife for letting me steer you for a few minutes. Hopefully, we can have you back on. We're going to get better at this thing. We're going to become better interviewers, better talker. We're going to have some great guests. I already got some people lined up, man. But for now, man, this is the 4 Pillar Podcast. If these things don't mean nothing to you, they certainly mean something to us. Faith, family, finance, and football. Appreciate y'all. God bless.
Right now.